welcome to the Sternco channel. I am Stern, and today I want to talk about something that I feel needs to be discussed. Something in regards to mods, admin, government, and I'm just gonna straight out come out and say it. Something needs to change here. Because the way that things are happening aren't right. They're not. I don't think that they're happening the way they should be. And I'm going to go into more detail on that right now. But before I do so, because, you know, this is going to be a kind of heavy topic, I don't foresee us ending on a light note, but it may happen. I'm just going to go ahead and, before anything happens, thank all my sponsors, all the people down below, and everyone who's helped with the channel so far. I am going to be most likely doing videos every other day, just because, for lack of a better term, I have a life? Yeah. And I've kind of, so far, been kind of stretching the out between, like, okay, I didn't get to do one now, so I'm just going to stay up until 2 a.m. and record one when my family's completely asleep. Or, alright, the baby's taking a nap, I hope he doesn't wake up, and if he does, I'll just have to cut that part out. And things like that. So, I'm probably going to be doing these videos every other day. That way, I at least give myself, rather than giving myself, like, 12 hours, because I usually upload these on the day that I make them. Rather than giving myself like 12 hours, I'm going to give myself 2 full days. Because I am kind of forward stocked on a lot of these videos, where I'm like, okay, I don't have the video done. I'll get that one out of the way first, or that one seems kind of complicated. I'm going to give myself a couple days to get that kind of scheduled and taken care of. Like the Richie ones, those ones we actually have to schedule in advance a little bit, because Richie's a very, you know, busy guy, as you've seen from his entire crazy factory in the previous episode. Go watch that if you haven't. It's really cool. He teaches me how to brew, and I'm still trying to figure it out. But, yeah. So now I just want to get into kind of what this episode is about, and that is the staff, the government, the admins, the mods, all that stuff. And I'm just going to come out and say this. I'm one of those people who says, you know, coming from inside my apartment or outside? Okay. I'm one of those people who, I'm just going to come out and say it. Call me a brown noser, call me a, you know, kiss ass if you will. I try not to curse on this channel, but call me a kiss ass if you will. Whatever, I don't care. The mods and staff and admin deserve a lot more respect than I feel like they get a lot of the time, and that's what I'm talking about here. I know I kind of baited you into this whole thing of, Stern's gonna bad talk the admin? Stern's gonna bad talk them. That's not gonna be good. Oh, things are gonna... No, I'm just saying, you know, I think that the staff deserves a lot more respect than they're given a lot of the time here. Excuse me while I just boringly mine some stone. And it's just... I hear people a lot saying, oh, you end up waiting an hour for help me's to get done. You end up waiting 45 minutes. Oh, I was waiting so long for an admin or a mod to come and help me out with this issue. And, you know, and so they're not doing their jobs. This mod or that mod or this admin or that admin never does help me's. They never help the players, all that stuff. And I do want to, I normally don't talk about my other... I have a video on my other channel that I made, I want to say 2.5 years ago, and it was the same issue. It was people saying the same thing, and I was actually on the other end of the conversation at that time. I was a lot younger, a lot more inexperienced. Not a lot younger, but where am I going? But I did this whole thing where I said, I'm going to make a video, and this video is going to be however long it takes for an admin or a mod to come and do my help me. And, I waited and I waited and I waited, and it took about 45 minutes. I don't remember. I think it was between 30 and 45 minutes. And I uploaded that, and people were like, ah, see, so they're not doing their job, etc., etc. And I feel like people kind of missed the point on that. Because it wasn't about, look, the staff aren't doing their job. It was about, I'm just realizing I'm going to have to redo that glowstone down there. It was about, you know, hey, this is a normal thing for everyone. Yes, it takes the staff a while to get some of these help me's done, but... as a person who's been a staff member before, however short that was, the staff are playing their own game, they're living their own lives. No one gets on Minecraft, or on the Hello Miner server specifically, and says, oh boy, I hope someday I don't get to have fun playing this game. That's my dream, that's my goal. I hope at some point I get to not have fun. No one does that. So the idea is you become an admin or a mod, and it's, you know, I want to A, play the game and have a fun time, and B, I want to support the server, which is why I, you know, chose to become a mod or an admin. Or when they asked, I said yes. You know, that's why I think a lot of the admin and mods do it, is because they say I want to have a good time and I want to help the server, because I've had so much fun on this server being a part of it that I want to be a part of what makes it good. And you know, the only thing that makes that go awry is when you have people coming up and saying, you know, all the mods suck, all the admins suck, all that stuff like that. It makes you not want to be an admin anymore. It makes you not want to be a mod anymore. And I feel like that the player consensus on that is they just basically say, well, good, then don't. When that's not the attitude you should have. We're all here playing the game, having a great time, having fun, and that should be the goal. And yet it seems like at every turn, every opportunity, some sort of drama arises. And I will say, I'm not counting myself out on this. Do I have enough room here to put in one of these? No, I don't. I'm not counting myself out on that, you know? I'd say that I've caused a little bit of drama myself back in the day, and even recently. Now, whether that's my fault or not, I don't want to get into, because I will say 50-50. 50% of the time, it is drama that's caused because someone thinks something or believes something about me that isn't true. Excuse me. And the other 50%, it's I caused an issue or a situation that was, you know, I will say I most of the time try to remedy, and sometimes it doesn't go that way, because by the time that I realize, hey, I caused this problem, it's too late. And Jesus Christ, lobster. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat. But I'm just saying, you know, staff are on here to play the game. And you'll notice that a lot of the players who end up leaving are staff. I haven't seen Arctic Winter, Commando Beta. Those are some of the two biggest admins that I remember from back in my day here. And they're not here. People obviously say, oh, Tarambu is gone. Haven't seen him in forever. Well, do you think it's because they said, ha ha ha, I hate people and I hate the players on here, I'm gonna leave and show them, ha ha ha? No, it's because they become staff members, and they become very prominent staff members because they do their jobs. And when you become prominent staff members, you get in the eye of the community. They see you and they say, oh, staff are not doing their jobs. For example, Arctic Winter, just because he's there and doing stuff. The people who do stuff tend to get targeted because they're seen most often. And I will say, yes, it does take a while to get help me's done, but that's not a new thing. That's not something that's popped up overnight and, oh, this run of staff sucks. I think this run of staff is great. I'd say, if anything, this run of staff is... The current staff members that we have right now are some of the best, I'd say, because they genuinely play the game, and that's something that I want to see. I want to see staff members who genuinely play the game and don't act. I'm not going to name names, but we did have staff members back a while ago when I used to play who would basically join, say, I'm above everyone, I'm better than you, and kind of have that aura of, I can do whatever I want, I'm a staff member. I actually got into... I'm not gonna name names, but I will say, that's my air conditioning. I will say that I've had issues with admin in the past, long time ago, and I don't know if it was just because they were a player and happened to be an admin, or not, I say admin, I mean staff, a player who happened to also be staff, or if it was just, I'm staff so I can do whatever I want. I don't know, but Jesus was here. But I had a situation back when I owned North Bay, which is a big city at the time, was one of the larger cities, and it was in a desert area when sand was becoming kind of hard to find, but it was also, my city was kind of also out there, so it was difficult, not difficult, but it was one of the longer cities to get to. And I had a staff member, I'll say admin, because I feel like that gets the point across even better, it was an admin who came and basically started digging up around my city. And I told them, hey, can you stop doing that? I'm kind of trying to make this city work. You know that I'm kind of having issues right now making my city succeed. And they basically said, sucks to be you. I'm an admin. I'll do what I want. And that was kind of the situation there, and the consensus was, I'm an admin. I'll do what I want. This was also one of the top tier admins who was just like, what are you going to do, ban me? And yeah, so I'm saying staff are people. They can be just as much a jerk as they can be a nice person. And if you want them to be a nice person, and if you want staff to be good staff, I suggest you start by being a good player to them. Because the last thing that you want is staff members who are kind of stoic about the whole situation and say, I don't care if I'm gonna, because I don't know, I'm in the mentality of, if I'm gonna be made fun of and told that I'm doing a sucky job anyway, then what's the point in trying my hardest? That's what I was doing. I was getting grass blocks. I'm gonna kill myself real quick. And that's what I want to talk about. And yes, it was a bait and switch with you by basically saying, I'm going to talk about the staff and stuff that I need to say about them. And you probably got on here thinking like, oh ho, Stern's going to lay it low, and Stern's going to tell all the staff what they need to hear. When in reality, I think it's the players who I think it's the players who need to, not all players, some, who need to respect the staff better. And again, I know I'm going to get a lot of people who are saying, oh, Stern is just being a brown noser. Stern is just being a kiss ass. Stern's trying to get mod. That's why he's doing this. I've been mod. That's why I'm saying this whole thing. Is because I'm saying I know what it's like. And a lot of the people who are saying stuff don't know what it's like. Does that make me better than anyone else? No. Does it make it that I have experience in a situation where a lot of people are talking about something that they have no experience in? Technically, yes. You know, I've been a mod. And I will say, one of the reasons that I left, and I'm just going to get super transparent with you guys here. One of the reasons that I left when I did 2 years ago was because I was not in the right headspace. I spent days, nights, speaking of nights, I spent nights, days thinking about Hello Miners, how I was going to get back at this person for quote-unquote wronging me, how I was going to, you know, expand my city and take over and show that admin who was trying to bully me out of my spot who's boss, what I could do there, to the point where I was becoming very self-destructive. I pretty much got, and I'm not bragging here, but I talked to Mark and Jake Have at the time, who were some of the richest players in the server, and said, why don't you open a city next to mine, and we can attach them at some point. And they opened up Sudbury, solely because, and I talked to them about that solely because I wanted to laugh in the face of the admin who was being a jerk to me at the time. And I spent nights laying in bed thinking like, ha ha ha, I'm going to get them, and then worrying like, oh, I hope this works, so if this doesn't work, I don't know what I'm going to do, I'll just have to shut down or sell the whole city. Stuff like that. And I hated it. I hated that I was getting so consumed by this, you know, by this video game. And I had a lot of family issues going on as well that I think contributed to that. It's kind of a situation of I may not be able to get my life in order with my family right now, but at least I could have control in this video game. And that was bad. That's not a good mentality to have ever on anything. And yet I was there thinking like I'm making myself worth something because of this game. I can be a person because of this game. And that was the mentality I had. Maybe not out front, maybe I wouldn't have said it because I wouldn't have understood that about myself at the time. But taking a deep look in, I realized that's what was happening. So I kind of decided at some point I'm going to leave and get my head on straight. And it was about that time when I was struggling like, I want to leave, but at the same time I love this game. How can I... Oops. I'm going to do this. I know it's not a shovel, but it's silk. How can I leave this game that's making me feel good and not feel like garbage? And it was at that time that I was approached, I don't remember by who, but they said, you know, do you want to be a mod? We've been talking, and we think that we want to select you as one of the, as a mod. That we want to keep an eye on you and do that. And I said, okay, yeah, sure. You know, unthinkingly, just thinking like, oh yes, everyone wants to be a mod. That's something I want to do. That's something I want to be. So yes, I will do it. And at the time in my life that I was at IRL, at the time that I was in my life in-game, and at the time that I was just in my life emotionally, I was in a bad place to be in. And at that time, I should not have said yes. But I did, because being a staff member is something everyone wants to do. And so I said yes, and it kind of screwed me over. It made things 10 times worse. I don't know how much grass I need. It made things just 10 times worse, and I didn't know what to do, because now I had a responsibility. And that's the other thing you need to understand about staff members is they want to have fun, but at the same time they have to juggle this responsibility. Is I want to play the game, I want to have a good time, but I also have a responsibility. Oof. I'm gonna build a ladder here at some point. So you have to understand that, is that it's juggling having fun and having responsibility and trying to find a perfect coexistence with those things. And I couldn't do it. Again, that was at the time. If I were selected, you know, to be a mod again, I'd probably say yes, because I think I'm in a better headspace now. Which is why I spend just way too much money on stuff on servers, because I understand this isn't real. I'm here to have a good time. And honestly, having fun in the server at any price is good. I'd rather have fun than have billions of dollars in the game. But I digress. You know, at the time, like I was saying, I shouldn't have done it, and it led me to lose track of myself a lot. And I came back, and I'm in a better headspace now. I got my head screwed on straight. I went through a lot of stuff, excuse me, with family, with just playing games, friends. You know, I was playing in college, and again, first off, you're super stressed in college all the time. At least if you're doing it right, you're super stressed all the time. And I kind of used Hello Miners as a way to de-stress, but ended up rather than Hello Miners de-stressing me from school, I just added all the stress of school onto Hello Miners and ignored the stress of school, which led me to not being a great student. So I kind of backtracked on that. So now I'm not in school. I actually finished all that stuff, all that good stuff, and excuse me, I have a terrible cough right now. I don't know what it is. Just way too emotional. No. I finished school. I'm here now. I have a family. I need somewhere to decompress from the family stuff. And I chose Hello Miners. I chose to come back here. Because I feel like this is a community that is good. Sometimes. And toxic other times. And it just depends on your outlook. Which is why I've changed my entire outlook. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to help the server. This is a server that, regardless of how things turned out, I used to get myself through a lot. Business gets your mind off that stuff. I started my own business recently. I make comic books now. Because I've always loved to draw. I've always loved to write. So now I make comic books. My own publishing company. And all that. And so I have so much stuff going on now that I don't see Hello Miners as becoming a stressor anymore. I don't see it as becoming a focal point of my life, because I have so many other good things. I have a son who I care about, I love, and I'd give anything for. And I don't see myself ever saying, sorry son, I can't hang out with you today, I can't take care of you, I can't change your diaper because I'm playing a video game. That's ridiculous to me. So I don't, I'm gonna extend this wall higher. So I don't have any fear about that anymore. I really don't. Or about myself overstressing myself on these games. And so even on forums right now, I said that, a lot of the drama I end up starting, sometimes 50%, 50-50. Some of the drama that I start, I know right now is, you're paying too much for this, you're clearly doing stuff out of spite, you're doing this or that just because you want to cause pain on someone else. And in reality, it's not. In reality, it's just, I would rather spend the money and have a good time than lose an opportunity to have a good time. Having a shop is one of my little dreams on the server, and being able to afford that and, do that is something I want to do. If I have to overpay for it, that's fine, because I think it's a lot more fun to own a shop than to not. And I'm getting grief for it, and I understand completely. I completely get the idea of, you're doing this just because. I get why people would see it that way. That's not the case here, but I get why people are saying that. And I'd probably be saying the same thing too if I were in the other person's shoes. Or if I were in the other people's shoes or whatever. I really don't want to talk about any drama or anything like that, because again, I don't want to be in the headspace of a person who has to constantly be thinking, like, how can I get back at someone? How can I do this or that? I don't want to be in that headspace. I don't want to be that person. So, you know, yeah. I'm sorry for any issues that I do cause, but I want to get back to my main point here, which is, I think that people need to understand that staff, mods, admins, they're players too, and hopefully my story of what happened to me, getting just overly involved in this, and modship just becoming not an addiction, but adding to an already present addiction. I know I have more buckets. Oh god, that's a nitwit, I don't care. How it can become an issue? How can it become a problem? You know? You're trying to, I think that's the best way that I put it so far, is you're trying to balance fun and responsibility. Again, no one gets on this server and says, I'm having a fun time, I hope that eventually I can not have fun. No one says that. And I know I'm going to get a lot of people saying, well, if people feel that way, then just don't become a mod. The thing is, you become a mod not because you say, I'm going to have more fun as a mod, but because you say, I want to help the server. I want to be able to do help me's. Maybe not be able to get to them as fast as I possibly can because people are doing other stuff. But to look and say, I want to help the server. I care about this server, so I want to become a mod. Or I want to become an admin. I want to become staff in general. I don't know. I mean, that's why I make these videos, is because I care about the server. It's a server that's gotten me through a lot. It's a server that I have a lot of fun on. And it's a server that I can see there's always going to be an opportunity to have fun. I'm just walking around right now, and I'm sorry because this seems super boring. But I feel like what I'm saying is a little bit more prevalent to what I'm doing. But yeah, that's the whole thing that I'm trying to say there is staff are players. I know you've heard that a million times, and I know I've heard people say basically the excuse of, well, if they wanted to have fun, then they wouldn't become a mod. And that's a ridiculous way of looking at the situation. Of if they didn't want to have fun, they wouldn't become a mod. So that's saying, you're basically saying every staff member is a staff member because they chose not to have fun while playing a video game. That's what you're saying. And that's ridiculous. Where are my buckets? I know I have more buckets. Are they? I think this is the other one. Yeah. I don't have. Are they in here? But yeah, you're basically saying every staff member is not allowed to have fun. And if you're a staff member, you're not allowed to have fun. Your job is to take care of the server. And when you start thinking about it that way, and you start bringing it up like that, you know, and firmly believing that, then it gets in the mod and staff and admins' heads of, well, I guess it's not my job to have fun. So then why am I going to do this? And then you come up with the next problem. So the first problem is you believing staff aren't doing their job. Well, now you're coming to the next problem, which is now there aren't enough staff. Why are there not enough staff? Because you've pushed them all to quit. That's the dirtiness of it, is you've pushed all these people to quit. So now there's not enough people. And then people complain and say, oh, well, there's not enough staff. That's the problem. Of course there's not enough staff. Because you made them feel like garbage for being staff. Of course they're going to quit. I see so many people on here who quit because they're like, I'm being mistreated. I'm going to quit. I'm going to leave because I'm being mistreated. And you look at it and say, psh, what a pansy. No, you bullied them. If you bully people, they're not going to want to do what they love anymore. If you bully them for doing what they love, they're not going to want to do that anymore. And people love the server. And if someone loves the server, they get staff. And then if you bully them for being staff, they're not going to play. And then when they don't play, you say there's not enough staff. And then we get new staff. And then you say the new staff sucks because they don't do help me's. And then they leave. And you're causing the problem. Whereas if you could just be kind to staff and admire the fact that someone is taking time out of their gameplay, I'm just going to make new buckets, out of their gameplay to help you for no reason. Is it this? It's this. No, it's not. Is it this? No. Is it this? It is. Oh, it's only 3. When someone's helping you and taking time out of their gameplay to help you for no reason, because the staff don't get anything out of it, I don't think, then that becomes an issue. But that's all I had to say, so I'm just going to let you guys go. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing.